I'm Angelica Rojas. I am a Colombian and an Australian, and I think that's important to acknowledge that duality or that blessing of having two homes. I've been working in architecture, urban design, sustainability, and research for over 2 decades. I'm a mother. I have 2 kids. One is 7 years old and the other is 15 months.
I'm Karina Sarris. I'm from Venezuela, and I've been here in Australia for 16 years. I'm a mother of a 16-year-old and a 12-and-a-half-year-old, both boys, and I've been juggling in between being a mother, wife, and professional, and wanting to grow on those 3 areas. It's hard, but it's possible, and yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's an honor to listen other experiences as well. We were not prepared to leave our country. I always say that no one wants to leave their country, but sometimes you have to, or you think it's the best decision. We did all the paperwork back then, 16 years ago. It was possible to do everything remotely. That was very lucky. But it came the time that we needed to come here to stamp the passport to approve the PR, and we weren't prepared at all. And we came in June 2009, and I was pregnant. Our initial idea was to be here a month or something to activate the PR, but because I was pregnant, we decided to stay. So that's how the story began. I came here already pregnant, so my profession in Australia as an architect came later. I had my own company in Venezuela, and with my husband, he's an acoustic engineer. So we were doing theaters and all that, and it was a good professional stage for us. But when we came here, I just decided to. It was a new country, new language, so I decided to just give the first year to be with my son and everything, because I didn't have family here. And the story began like that. Architecture came later in my case, and motherhood came first.
Very good response.
Okay. In my case, I came here for the first time 20 years ago. I was single, and I really wanted to experience another place. So I came with an idea of I want to improve my English. I want to experience a place where there are many cultures. And then I finished my degree in architecture in Colombia when I was 21. And then I was working since I was 20. So I was working really hard for 3 to 4 years, saving money to go to study English somewhere. And when I came, I was really missing architecture. Like I wanted to go and work, but of course it wasn't the right timing. And then I decided to go back to Colombia because there were many opportunities there to continue my career. And at the same time, I applied here to university. I touched many doors in terms of work and etc. I was in love with Australia, but something in my body says go back. And then 2 weeks after I went back to Colombia, I met my husband. And then I just realized this year that the first time I came to Australia was 8th of May. And then our wedding day was on the 8th of May. So it's like two life-defining moments happen on the same day. We have a company in Colombia. We were doing schools. We were lucky enough to kind of do competitions for schools, and we won a couple of competitions, and then we were developing those projects. And then I got all of the sudden a scholarship from Melbourne Uni 3 or 4 years later after I applied. So I was like, should I go back? And then I decided to come to Australia with my then at that stage husband. We came to Australia 2 months after we got married, so it's been our long honeymoon. I decided not to start my family straight away. 8 years after I was in Australia the second time, I became a mother. My daughter was born in Sydney, and there was another relocation here. So that's how motherhood. It's like there are two different chapters. I feel for me was I migrate, and then I became a mother. So they're kind of two different big moments. I said migration was easier in terms of change. For me, the biggest change in my life was before motherhood, after motherhood. Migration was way easier in terms of the emotional changes that go into our body. Motherhood really has been the biggest one.
Related to that first year, the most confronting moment or stage, the word that can define that, it's loneliness.
For me, it was responsibility. I think the responsibility for a human being felt overwhelming, bigger than any project.
I don't know, because I think that sometimes things happen as they should happen. But if I could control the sequence of the events, maybe I would have had my first son later, after being more adapted maybe to the city. But again, by saying this, I think that the moment was perfect because it was the birth of my son. So I wouldn't change that for anything. The challenging moments make us stronger.
I think that's interesting what you say, because I wouldn't change anything necessarily. If I go back, I'll say, no, I wouldn't change necessarily. But the only thing, I will try to be more relaxed being a mother. And probably put less pressure on myself. That's probably the best advice I can give to a new mother. A little bit pressure on yourself. There doesn't need to be a perfect environment. Doesn't need to be everything natural. If it resonates to you, perfectly. But there, I felt a lot of pressure of doing everything natural, and that didn't necessarily happen. And then I think we just need to be a little bit more flexible and more relaxed. If I could change something, I don't think that if somebody told me just relax, it would help anyway. So I think if I can tell my younger self, just relax, you're gonna go through this, and the baby is okay. But migration keeps you resilient. We are adventurous. We are able to take risks. That migration expands us in many ways. And motherhood, for me, motherhood in terms of professional, it has been kind of the biggest shift, and I'm really grateful. My kids have actually told me many things, and one is priorities and time management. And I think those skills have been strengthened through motherhood. I don't know if you have heard about the JOMO thing, the joy of missing out. Being a mother is like you really get to be picky about what you're gonna go through. In terms of work, I'm much more efficient since I have my kids, because I don't think that I'm gonna have the night to just catch up with work. So being very mindful about what tasks are necessary and what tasks are redundant.
Completely agree. Migration gives you resilience. Being a professional gives you time management. Same, I'm very strict with I work full time, and I'm very strict with my times. I usually start earlier, but I finished on my time because I want to be on the soccer trainings. I want to see them. I want to share with them. So I'm very strict and clear that my balance between a professional and a mother has to be there. That's my decision. I perhaps may lose or may feel that I'm not growing as fast as a professional, but I have grown. It's not impossible, but the balance, if you look for it, it's possible.
And I think you just said something. It's not that you have to be with the kids. I want to be with them. Yes, it's like you just said that. It's like I want to be in those moments.
Yeah.
I want to be part. Like I don't want to miss out those key milestones.
Because they're growing. My older one, it's 16 years old. It's starting to learning how to drive. It's year 11. Soon it's going to be to uni. And in the future, they will become more independent every day. So, yeah.
Yeah. I also feel when you said that they're growing and we're growing with them, right? Like it's so much what I learned from the kids. And I just said when I was just reminded that for me it was key to have my baby, my first baby and the second. They both brought a couple of gifts. One, when I was pregnant the first time, I was doing a PhD and working, and I heard many people saying, with the best intentions, you're not gonna finish that PhD now. You're a mom, and you know that for some people that is like, maybe they're right. Or for me, that was fuel, because I was like, I'm not gonna blame my kid for not finishing this. Anyone who has gone through a PhD has had a moment when you want to quit. I didn't want to use my child as an excuse. So I decided to, I use her as my motivation. And then I was able to finish when after she was born, I was more focused. And also I had that background conversation of people saying to me, you're not gonna make it. And I said, now I'm gonna make it because I'm a mother instead of the other story. So because I want to share that story with her, I'm gonna but you're gonna be my motivation, not my reason to quit. My second little one, he brought other gifts. I decided to do a competition when I was pregnant, and then things like that they're like, for me, you are the reason, not the other way around. You're the reason why I'm also doing this. You're like, but also the reason why I'm stopping on time to be present. They help us to ground us in the daily and to enjoy life, right? Like I feel like I enjoy life more.
Yes.
Because architecture is very intense, and there is a culture that you have to sacrifice everything in life because you're because you are in architecture. I think motherhood really gave me that balance and that perspective.
Priorities. Talking about priorities.
Be more strategic with your time. Time management, right? Like,
It's more efficient.
Yes, more efficient. And I think some of my best role models are mothers. Because they're really, really good at time management. Yeah,
I think it's challenging because you don't have that support, and when they're sick or when they need you more, you have to be there and you need to invest more time. But at the same time, I think it's on the other side. I've been lucky enough to have a beautiful group of support people that now my kids call aunties, aunts, cousins. We love each other like if we're family, and they know who their uncle and their aunties are. But the relationship with the group of the support we have here, it's their day-to-day, their birthdays, their Christmas, their everything. So at the same time that we had the lack of the family support, I've been lucky enough to have that support of very close friends. I think everyone grows together, not only the baby.
Well, I've been lucky enough to be completely honest. My mother came the first time she came 3 months, and then she came also with my second baby for a year. The extended family is not here. Then you become a very, very connected unit. And I think that's something that is important to mention, the role of the father. It's different in South America, I will say, because you have help, and then I feel that connection that my kids have with my husband, because he has to cook as well, he has to pick them up as well,
and change nappies and everything.
Yeah, all of what is like, he is very well versed. The only thing he couldn't do was breastfeeding, but and that creates that unit, and then brings that connection between the couple that becomes really beautiful and strong. And challenging sometimes. It's also that is. It's also something I really value, like that role. And also, for me, it's also important. It's really hard to not have my sister sometimes. I wish she come here for a weekend or something like that. And my brother and my nephews and so on. I also been able to create another type of village. So the first year, I will say it's challenging, even if you were born in Australia and have your family here. I will say my kids have brought a village with them. Of course, you have to invest time and connect and being open your house to multiple cultures. And I think that's also beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Following your idea of the new village you do here, I obviously have the Latin American village I have, but when they start school, I think it's very important to join the soccer club. If they're playing soccer, you go there, you will start knowing the parents better. I then joined the soccer and play soccer, and I met beautiful woman that plays soccer. I'm terrible, but all of us, I think, are, well, some of them are good, but it's more social. You open to make friends with your children's friends, family, and that's beautiful. Join the clubs, join the sports they want. If they like to dance, just go to the dance and talk to the parents. That's how you grow. That has been beautiful, because we now have 14 years friendships with very Australian and other Australian-born people and other cultures, and those are incredible.
I think making the effort to go for play dates, it's as simple as that, like we're prioritizing open to those connections to people who are on the same journey. And particularly also, following up on people, giving instead of waiting for others to come to you. So you're not going to the local cafe, and if you see another mother, go and ask how are you, and just like making an effort. I think investing in creating that village.
That's very important, because here in Australia, the play dates are a big thing, and I missed that with my first son because I didn't know that. I learned the kindy, the school things together with him. I just saw in his kindy, in his bag, over 10 years ago, that he brought in Easter a little note and an egg from all the classroom, or in Christmas, like a candy cane when a note, and I said, I didn't send anything. So I learned with him, poor thing. But with the second one, I knew better. So yes, play dates, it's a big thing here to build relationships.
Because it was so different when I was before, when I was in, my 20s and initially came, I did have the luxury of time. So I went to events, I went to networking, that was in Melbourne. But then my chapter in Sydney is motherhood. My chapter in Melbourne was going to uni, going to meet people, more professional, and having the time to go and explore places. And in Sydney, I really need to see, okay, this is the time I have outside of work. This is the time. So how can I use this best to create that network, not only for me, but also for my children? Well, in my case, my partner and my husband is he's an architect, so we met working. So architecture was our kind of way to connect, right? But then we went together through migration. That really helped us to, okay, we're a team. We're a team. We need to make this work. And I think the times where my energy is low, his energy is up, and sometimes the opposite, and sometimes both of us were, feeling like the moments that, like COVID, or moments that were like, is no one being like the energized one and the other. So we shared those moments of probably challenging times together. So we've been through many stages. Motherhood and parenthood for him, really, it's when the belief systems of two people come together, right? So there is a lot of negotiation at different stages. And I think, although I share with him a lot of moments of negotiation, we have business together, so we have been working for same places together. It's different with kids because they're like, we are from the same country, we have the same career, we're in the same industry, but in terms of the beliefs of what we want to pass on to the next generation, we needed to find where our differences were. And that's a moment where we really need to sometimes we find ourselves, okay, it's chalk and cheese, what we're in, like what you believe that we should teach them, or so we need to come together and have those conversations. Also, it's so important for us that before it was obvious what we needed. When you're a parent, you really need to tell the other and not assume they will guess. So I think that's a key thing that we needed to learn through parenthood, to be able to say, look, I need this. And also to ask the other person, what do you need? Because sometimes we were good at assuming things in professional environments for both of us and also as a couple. But having kids is a different challenge. It's a 24-hour challenge, 7 days. So I think that connection for me is keeping that connection alive and being open to have those moments of, bringing the hard conversations to the table.
Yes, definitely migration and motherhood came together and our relationship got stronger than ever because we only had each other. So I think that built a stronger relationship in between us, and as parents both were really involved with the baby because we were the support and the extended family and everyone for the baby at that time. So, but that gave us the opportunity to share 100% all those beautiful first stages with him, and that was beautiful. In regards to our professions, through all these stages till now, It has evolved with the kids. For example, at the beginning, I decided not to do architecture at all, but to stay more with the kids. So, for example, I had casual jobs, or my husband always worked full time, and at some stage I work at nights as a waitress. So I could be with the kids during the day, and then he took over. But that was a decision in between us, that I want to be at home with them for a certain time. And then when I decided I really like architecture. I mean, if you don't love it, you cannot. You need to really like it. When I decided to pursue that, I did it. But it was all intentional and based on being parents and being in a different country. And I think it's also important for the people that want to know about registration and everything, that it doesn't have to be everything rushed or at the beginning. I just got registered a year and a half ago, and I've been working. I'm a senior project architect now. But even before then, I don't think you have to rush it. You just, when it's the perfect time, you do it. You don't have to do it straight away. Nowadays, if you feel that will open more doors or not, I think that's a personal choice. But I think, especially if you are a mother, things will come naturally, and the less you force them, I think that the more you enjoy them and the less stressful they will be. So it's that balance in between motherhood and being an architect that you need to take the decisions that you think will be better for both aspects of your life at the right time.
What you just said just made me think about embracing the season, right? Like, no matter the season we are, like that idea of consciously embracing the season where we are. And that might mean, like, I want to work full time and also be a mom. I want to go and get my registration. I want to, go and do a master's degree. I don't want any of that. It's embracing the season that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Like what makes sense to you. And that listening that, and that involves some effort. That's embracing the season as well. So in my case right now, that idea of embracing the season and giving priorities to the things that actually move the needle professionally, it's been very important.
Yes. I think you talk about something very important, and it's like a business relationship. It's negotiation. It's, you sometimes will give more, and in other stages your husband or your partner will give more. So it's about communicating and talking. We are at this stage now. What's better for everyone? What do you need to give at this stage, and what do I have to give at this stage? It's always a negotiation of time, involvement, and everything, because we are together as a couple in this journey now with the kids. We're all together, and because of that lack of support over time, you think, yes, it's important in my culture, but once you see that you can do it and it's nice and you're happy and everyone is thriving, it's possible. It's just knowing what can you do at each stage and help with and communicate.
Yeah, I think that the key is communication. And, consciously choosing to communicate and consciously finding out time. Don't wait until we have the perfect time for the perfect date to have everything, nobody has it all together. So finding that moment to have that coffee together and have those conversations that need to happen. And another key thing I feel like is releasing that idea that is half-half, 50% all the time, because it isn't. It's like sometimes it's 80, the other has 20, sometimes it goes. It's like this is a process, it's not an immediate outcome. We have little outcomes when we see the progress of the kids or when we see key moments. But I think it's a long journey, and in that long journey, there are gonna be times that are so different. So there might be like months where everything was really to the schedule and everything went really well, and there are some others months that we are absolutely humans, and because we're nature, then we change. and our situations change, and then being able to be a little bit flexible, I think, with this idea of how we distribute,
which is now 50-50. But when I decided to start growing my profession in here, I started working full time, and I wanted to dedicate that time, and I was far from home. My husband purposely found a similar job that he was doing very close to the schools and our home and everything. So he was the one now going through all primary school, to the school events, to the band events, to it, because I couldn't, he did it. So that change that you do, sometimes you give 80, sometimes you do 20, but sometimes that's the balance, and that's how it works. It's never the same through all the years, and it's never going to be the same in involvement.
Exactly. And that expectation of 50-50, it really kills
it doesn't
couple.
happen.
It kills, because it's an expectation that is unreal. And then there's so much info out there that says, make sure you divide it this way. We're like, well, it doesn't really.
And it's different for everyone. But it's never 50-50.
Never 50-50, no matter what. Yes.
Well, in my experience, it was great, and it was like an eye-opener to know that there were so many Latin architects in Australia going through motherhood and going through professional challenges and everything. And only that fact, I think the fact that we bring us together. Thank you. The fact that we have all those things in common, and all of them are very powerful, bring us together. Having the opportunity to have all that people in one place, I think it's a blessing, and it's super important, because sometimes we feel alone, right? And we feel that we are probably walking through a very challenging process and all that, but we are not. And there's so many stories that make us know that we're not alone, and there's a lot of people that have walked that challenge before, and they are all now fine. So I think it's very important, that support, because it's not easy, it's challenging, but I think it's grateful, it's a blessing, it's at the same time great. I think this is the perfect country to raise kids, but this is very personal, and having that support from similar cultures, I think it's great, because you're not alone, no one is.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in my case, most of my friends that the village I created when I first came, they're all in health for some reason. So when I had those conversations, I really feel connected, because we're all from the same country. We're Colombians, and then we're now all that kind of tribe lives in different parts of Australia now, but we come together, we get together. But when they were talking, and then most of the time is health related, which I have learned a lot. But then when Danny contacted me, then I learned that ARLA existed. I was like, oh, such a great idea, And later, when that layer of the village, and they created this, there gonna be other people who will get, what it means to be in motherhood, having your family thousands of kilometers away from you, and working in architecture and built environment in Australia. So I think having, as you said, this combination, and having a tribe that understands the different things that we talk about, even when we said words that are very technical, in connection with motherhood, and we all get it.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. I think that's one thing, and I feel we get inspiration from each other. I think support is important when we're going through difficult times. But for me, the more I get is when we inspire each other. That's when I feel like my place within the village. I feel that's where I feel more connected, when we just relate to topics, but also inspire with our story to other person, and being very open about what's your story and how I also get inspired and motivated. So it's this idea that I will say the word of a very positive sisterhood, that we don't necessarily see each other as frequent, but we really kind of give those tips about anything that we're going through, we can ask questions that are related to motherhood and to architecture.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
For me, is community, safety, and relationships. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 3 words.
Yeah. For me, it's tribe. Yeah. And you said that before. It's tribe.
Yo creo que es muy importante no caer en esa trampa de autovictimizarse. Yo escucho gente que dice, es que yo no voy a buscar eso porque es que soy migrante. Yo antes tienes que buscarlo porque eres migrante y puedes traer esto. Y yo creo que está en nosotros mostrar nuestro valor.
Sí.
Entonces cuando dicen, ay, es que no me valoran, yo he invertido tiempo en comunicar lo que traes y cómo eso le agrega valor al lugar al que quieres ir a trabajar. Entonces yo creo que esa idea de mirarnos a nosotros con los ojos de, ok, sí, soy migrante, estamos en un país de migrantes. Entonces cuando te dices a ti mismo, no, es que yo no lo hago porque soy mamá, no lo hago porque soy migrante, yo creo que tenemos que tener un cuidado y no estar buscando excusas para no ponernos en una situación que nos pone incómodos, ¿no? Exponerte. Claro, la cabeza puede doler y todo, porque es que puedes mandar la hoja de vida o ir y hablar de tu profesión o dar una conferencia. Eso nos enfrenta con miedos y entonces a veces nos vamos inconscientemente a dejarse llevar por el miedo. Entonces decir, bueno, yo sí tengo miedo, pero también soy valiente. Y también puedo, mira mi experiencia. Alguien me dijo, pero ¿por qué te reconocieron tu experiencia? Y yo tomé mi tiempo para contarla, para contar mi historia y decir, mira cómo esto te puede ayudar. Sí. Y entonces yo creo que es eso, es como moverse del lugar de volverte chiquito. Sí. Yo soy muy pequeña en estatura, pero no me considero chiquita. Pero de coger eso y decir, esto es parte de mí y esto es lo que hace que me vuelva único.
Un valor.
Recientemente muchas veces me dicen, tan lindo tu acento. Y antes, cuando ya estaba empezando, eso era como un insulto, ¿no? Como, porque soy diferente. No, yo creo que nosotros no estamos diseñados para encajar. Pero si nosotros cogemos y abrazamos quién realmente somos, entonces ahí brillamos, lo que tú acabas de decir. Y cuando brillas se nota, porque viene de adentro.
Sí, eso me hizo acordar de algo. Lo que pasa es que yo tengo 10 años en esta compañía y me hizo acordar de algo. Cuando yo empecé a aplicar, yo pagué para que me hicieran el resumen y me dijeron, no, tú no puedes poner que tú eres dueño de una empresa, no, tú no puedes poner esto, no puedes poner... Entonces mi currículum era yo chiquita y yo aplicaba y pensaba, no me lo van a dar, esto no me lo van a dar, esto no me lo van a dar. Y un día dije, hasta que me obstiné del rechazo, dije, ¿sabes qué? Yo voy a poner todo lo que hice, voy a poner toda mi experiencia porque la tengo. Sí. Así yo estoy aplicando de drafter, yo quiero poner todo lo que he hecho y el que lo vaya a valorar, lo valore. Y aplicaba, esta soy yo. Este es en verdad mi currículum de Karina, no la Karina chiquita. Y en esa época conseguí 2 entrevistas en la misma semana y el trabajo.
Mira, sí.
Sí.
Tal cual.
Bueno, gracias Arla por promover estos espacios. Sin estos espacios no te hubiera conocido y estoy increíblemente feliz de haberte conocido, escuchar tu historia. Quiero escuchar más. Me siento inspirada, me siento como empoderada ahorita por haber escuchado tu historia. Gracias por compartirla y wow, me siento absolutamente honrada de haberte conocido.
Ay, Karina, gracias. De nuevo también gracias, Dani. Gracias a todos ustedes por el tiempo y la pasión que le ponen a estas conexiones. Yo también me siento muy inspirada. Yo creo que cuando empezaste a hablar de que te viniste embarazada, yo dije, qué valiente. Esa fue la primera sensación. Yo dije, estoy enfrente de una mujer muy valiente. Quiero saber más de ella. Entonces, sí, se me eriza la piel cuando la tengo literal erizada y emocionada porque es muy lindo conectar con personas que pasamos por por etapas difíciles, digamos. También al mismo tiempo de sacar toda esa fuerza, yo dije, quiero saber más de ti. Yo también espero que esto no quede solamente en este momento y que tengamos más oportunidades de seguir conectando y tejiendo.
Definitivamente.
Sí.
Gracias, Dani.
Gracias, Dani.